All right, we are back at it with this Edison. Those of you who've been following the videos in this series, I haven't really labeled them part one, part two, or anything. Usually I do that, but we didn't. So I want to thank you to a bunch of people who commented on the last video, or 2 videos ago. The last video, we put the HV blades on this for fun. That was kind of just a silly experiment. But the video before that, with this fan, we caught on camera the blades slipping on the shaft, and thanks to some really great comments, we have some great suggestions, and we're gonna at least try one of them today, which has me a little nervous because it involves basically drilling a hole through the side of the hub, and we'll explain that in a bit. But really, what's the point if I can't keep this set of blades from spinning on the shaft here? So we're gonna get started. If we want to remove the grill, and while he's doing that, there's 2 approaches, right? There is the one suggestion is to drill a hole into the side of the hub, so you can essentially get to where it mounts on the shaft, and you can either take a zip tie, put it around essentially the portion of the hub that goes into the shaft, and then run the zip tie through that little hole, and then maybe with a pair of needle nose pull the zip tie like really tight. That was basically one commenter, which I like that idea. The other was essentially get a screw, much like you would with the HV blades or whatever. Same concept, to drill a hole, but then thread the screw through the plastic that goes over the shaft, and I heard that works pretty flawlessly as well. So we're set up to do both. We're at the condo location. Yesterday we were doing some work at the main location, so we grabbed our zip ties and through our parts bin grabbed a threaded pointed screw that's coming in blurry. There we go. That we will we have as well. I don't know which way would be better or worse. I would think the zip tie involves less poking holes, so we might go that route first to try. All right, so I'm going to remove the blades, which have been coming off very easily on this fan because of all the manipulation. So here's the dilemma, right? We need to come through somewhere about there, right? And then maybe here. This is going to be tough. Come through here and then get that zip tie around here and pull it, and just pull it tight. Now, if that doesn't work for whatever reason in our case, we would still need a hole through there, a long screwdriver, which I don't know if we have one here, maybe, a long skinny screwdriver, and then put that screw that I just showed you through here, screw it through down tight onto the shaft. Now there is, trying to see if there's any areas that would make more sense to run that screw through. Actually, there kind of is, but I think it would involve, I just don't want to get too close to the blades here. All right, so the first order of business is, would you like to hand me the drill bits, please? We're gonna see what could be the right size bit for this. Now to mimic this, so we go around. We go around. I purposely put this on the wrong way so I can undo it. So if it goes around, and then it would need to come through there, and we could pull it through. Okay, and then we could snip it if it's too long at the end. All right, so let's see now. You probably don't need a huge bit to do this. Actually, there should be in that bag. Okay. All right. So I have my drill with me, if you will. I have a cordless one here, but I think the battery is probably dead on it. I always keep a live one on the charger. Charger is not at this location, and this battery has been sitting here. Yeah, totally dead. I would have probably used this drill, but I have two of these battery packs. One I always keep on the charger, one I keep in here. But the problem is I must use this drill once every X number of months, and it went dead. It was in a cold garage as well. So we will use, I guess it's very fitting, we will use our vintage Black & Decker power drill for our vintage fan. In fact, you probably could have bought this drill brand new when you bought this fan brand new. Out of habit, I hooked it up to the meter.
How much power draws?
Yeah. All right. So this drill was my grandfather's, my mom's dad, and then when he passed away, early 1980s, my dad inherited it, and then eventually he needed, for whatever project he was working on, this is a non-reversible drill, he needed something reversible, and he just basically said, you can have this drill. All right. That's not in all straight. This is like my worst nightmare, like drilling into something on the fan. Alright. So I'll let you work the camera there. Plastic is slippery. This is solid plastic. I feel like if this was a, I feel like if this was like a Lasco 3733, that would have just like, I could have probably pushed it through. All right, so can that come through in the camera? Yep, so there's a little hole there, which I'm not happy about. But the idea is to get the zip tie through. Okay. Go around to this side. Do you want to remove the stuff from me so I can give? All right, so we're gonna take a stab at this. Am I on camera? All right, so can you check to see if I'm on camera while I'm doing this? So what I'm doing is I'm gonna put the zip tie around the outside of the hub here where it will go on, and then I have to line it back up with my little hole. So I don't have to go crazy making it tight at this point in time. So see, the idea is you can pull it tight. A little tighter. All right, so I have it snug. I have it snug going through. And I suppose I could have drilled that hole further back, but I didn't. I was more worried about, so if this doesn't work, and I have to put that screw in here, I needed the hole to be really aligned, so if I get a long skinny screwdriver to go down to tighten that down. That's kind of why I drilled that hole there, but you could probably put it more in the center. All right, so now we're gonna put this on. I'm kind of excited about this. All right. Have a pair of pliers, please. So I'm gonna try to use a pair of pliers and just pull this tight.
It's a little wobbly.
Yeah, it kind of always was like that.
I mean, probably the problem. Some wiggles
Yeah.
around of the shaft.
Yeah. So for testing purposes, I think I'm gonna leave that there like that before I snip it. It might cause some wind noise. So let's hand tight the grill on. Let's move some of these things out of the way. And see if we have rectified the problem. There really wasn't any give Now, here, let me, could you, wait, can I try one more thing before you do that? Before you put that on. Sorry. Could you just put your hands on top?
Second.
Push down. Alright, that's not going. Okay. I think I got that zip tied as tight as I can. What I was about to say is, when I went to pull it tighter after I had put it on the shaft, it didn't, I was unable to pull it any tighter. The only thing I can think of is when I pressed the hub onto the shaft, is that it caused the shaft to kind of, or I'm sorry, the center of the hub to kind of expand a little bit to receive the shaft, and therefore it was super snug. Yeah, so we'll just hand tighten this, and again, if this works out, we're gonna snip that off. And what's kind of nice about these translucent blades and whatnot, and that hub, once we snip that, you won't even know that's there. Or it's like a 6 blade. I like the idea of the screw fix better than this, but this is probably less tricky to kind of do. Although it doesn't seem like it's super tricky at all. It's just like you gotta start the screw into the plastic and then mount it on, and then that hole needs to be directly over that screw, and then a long skinny screwdriver through the side of the hub to tighten it down. And the trick that has been with this fan is, it's not right away that hub would start slipping. It would take sometimes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. All right, we good?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we don't need to meter this. All right. So we'll just let it run for a little bit. This is not the really exciting part of this, but this is certainly why it's great to have friends that like the same hobby, virtual friends, because you learn about fixes like this. I don't notice any additional wind noise with that little piece from the zip tie sticking through.
Can't see it when it's on.
No, you can't. I didn't think you would. You know how like a weed whacker, like you hear like the...
Yeah.
Although weed whackers move much faster. It's like they say, all you need to repair anything is a pair of pliers, duct tape, and zip ties. And probably an open wrench as well. think the last time that Eddie and I did this, the blade started slowing down pretty quickly. I think. Remember, we were standing here. We're like, yeah. So, not to jinx us, but I think we might have gotten somewhere here. Federal love. These fans have always done this. This vibrating on the handle is not unique to this fan. So for those of you who have followed the channel, this fan has been in many videos, and even before that, this fan has been poked and prodded more than any of my fans. I've owned this fan since I think '07, and then in 2020, took it completely all the way down. I completely separated the motor, took it all apart to restore it. Put it back together, ran it for 3 years, and then started having issues with, it was like the bearing was making noises, squeaking noises. A fellow collector who's on the Facebook groups, he's been a lifesaver. This fan has been in his possession a couple times. I paid the expense to ship it to him. He's replaced the covers on the motors on the motor. He's run it so it doesn't even have the original covers on the motor. I think the shaft is actually not the original shaft any longer, because I think we have that with the original covers. The main location. And then been dealing with this situation with the blades now for 2 years, and tried every non-evasive remedy, and I've talked about it in previous videos, between putting a piece of paper on the shaft, between blue dots, between just trying different things, right? And this, thank you. I know the screw would have worked as well, because I understand the concept. I have some HV blades that I've retrofitted on my Air King fans, and that doesn't move when you screw that down. I've worked with my P23 and P25 that has that. Perfect. So I think that would have worked really well. I just didn't have a long enough screwdriver here where I'm at to accommodate it. But zip tie seems to be working. And the only reason I'm standing here with my arm on here is because of this. And I'm not leaning on it to keep it from vibrating. I'm just resting my arm because my arm's getting tired. So if I go like this, it stops. So again, thank you, YouTubers, subscribers, for helping me out with this. this is how you learn. We kept trying and trying and trying. We learned. So this fan likely will get some use this upcoming season, and it makes me less fearless to dig into my other Edison fans because I do have to pop the blades off. And but the problem with this is while there's a flat part on the shaft, there's not a flat part on the center of the blades, right? There's this little metal washer piece, if you will, that is on the center, and it's missing on this, as someone pointed out in one of the commenters in one of the videos. And but before I kind of realized all that, I thought, oh, I'm going to have this issue every time I take off a set of blades on any of the Edison fans. I had not had this problem up until a couple of years ago, but I just assumed it was because I took the blades off so many times to work on it that eventually it just kind of like it bored it out, which it kind of probably did. But it lost that metal washer piece that kind of, I think, held it in place. And also, you saw me remove the blades with one hand with the fan standing up. If you're taking these blades off for the first time, as I've worked on a bunch of these, you have to lay the fan down. You have to put your knees on the cabinet and, like, with all your might, patiently pull it off. And you can't work it back and forth because it'll snap the plastic. At least, especially on the newer fans, it will. This plastic sticker may not crack it, but it may. So you want to lift straight up, and it's brutal. So the fact that I could just like pull it off with one hand like that shows that it's been on and off many times. So that was also like an indicator that that was our problem. So I think we can conclude that this project is complete, and I can't thank, again, I keep saying it, I can't thank you guys enough for the suggestions. It worked beautifully, as you said it would. So thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you on the next time. Rattle, rattle, rattles.